Time. Dear judges, once again, I am delighted to be your host. I have a truly unique coffee I can't wait for you to experience. So, a couple of weeks ago, I tasted not one, but two amazing coffees. The first one is an heirloom varietal from Bombay village in Ethiopia, Sidama region. It blew me away with its intense sweetness and its complexity. Now the second one is a geisha varietal from Finca Micala in Colombia. It stood up with its vibrant acidity and cleanliness. Now, between these two coffees, honestly, I couldn't choose. So in order to make the best of both, I decided to experiment with blending. And the result has been beyond my expectations, with a perfect synergy between all attributes and even a new note of blood orange that I couldn't find in each coffee brewed separately. Now, both of these coffees were grown at a very high altitude, which means that the beans are very dense. So when we grind it, it produces a lot of small particles, also called fines. So to get the best of these very dense coffees, I chose to use a new generation grinder, thanks to its high quality burst set and a low RPM profile. It enables me to have a very uniform grind size without too much fines. In the cup, this contributes in a high clarity of flavors and a long-lasting aftertaste. I am also using a WDT tool in order to mix my ground coffee and break any clumps. In the Ibrik, this will trigger a faster and more consistent water-to-coffee saturation for a higher perceived sweetness throughout your cup experience. Now, after many trials, I came up with a unique ratio for this blend, so I'm using it for both of my courses. So I'm using 5 grams of Mikava geisha and 3 grams of Bombay, so a total of 8 grams of coffee for 70 grams of water. With this ratio, the vibrant acidity of the Mikava feels fully integrated into the sweetness of the heirloom, achieving a perfectly balanced blend. Now my target extraction time will be between 1 minute 30 and 2 minutes. As I realized that this is the perfect tempo for both the geisha and the heirloom to work in symphony. As for my water, I tailor-made a unique water recipe that reaches 150 ppm. It is made with 1 part of calcium, 1 part of magnesium to highlight both the fruitiness of both coffees, and 3 parts of sodium bicarbonate to control the acidity of the Mikava and enhance the smoothness of the Bombay. As for my roasting, I also came with a unique approach. I roasted both coffee separately with a hair roaster with a 13% development time, and separately the Mikava 3 days ago and the Bombay 4 days ago, as I realized that both have a different freshness peak. Then I blended it to obtain a vibrant and harmonious cup. Now, as I'm about to pour your simple Cezve in front of you, you may evaluate the crema, of course, but then please wait for my call before tasting it. Thank you. Here we are. And tap. Right. Thank you. All right. So we still have a couple of minutes before your coffee is ready to enjoy. So meanwhile, let's move forward to your signature Cezve recipe. This time, I'm relying on the sand eater to keep the tradition alive, but also because it enables me to tweak my recipe in order to better suit my signature beverage. So combined with a 60 degrees water temperature, I'm able to reach consistently my target extraction time and also increase the acidity of my coffee, which will perfectly vivify my signature drink. This time, I chose to use the EK43 as a grinder because I want to take advantage from all that sweetness that it generates with its larger amount of fines. Then I will filter it over a paper filter to remove all the coffee grounds and bring clarity to the drink. Now back to your simple Cezve. Would you please write down? For the taste balance, you'll find a medium sweetness with a medium acidity and a medium low bitterness. For the tactile, you'll find a medium weight with a medium juicy texture and a high, long-lasting finish. For the flavors, when hot, you'll find notes of lavender, blood orange, and a hint of apricot. When warm, you'll find notes of strawberry, caramel, and a hint of vanilla. Great. Now, as your coffee is almost ready to extract, to assess, I would like to add an extra twist. I believe that by gently removing parts of your cap's crema, I can increase the tactile quality of your first sip. And I will of course do it for you, as I really want you to enjoy this tactile that I adore. May I? Thank you. May I? Thanks. And you may now enjoy your simple Cezve. It's hot. Please enjoy. All right, back with me? Great. And please wait for my call before tasting it. When warm, I will let you know. So as a barista, I am a storyteller, which means I believe it is my role to embrace what's behind the cup and deliver it to my guests in the most tasteful, meaningful, and pleasant way. And what's better to do this than a cocktail? So my first ingredient will echo the fermentation work achieved at origin, and first in Ethiopia. Shashamo and Asefa, the producers, placed their cherries in anaerobic condition for 96 hours in order to intensify the complexity of their coffee. So I replicated this condition by placing 1 part of ground Bombay with 1 part of its own cascara, 1 part of sugar, on which I add 1 part of water. I will let this macerate for 96 hours. This is the backbone of my cocktail, a foundation of sweetness and complexity that will remind you of the Bombay richness. Then, the floral attributes of the Mikava, Paul Doyle processed this coffee through a carbonic maceration, thank you, which highlighted the red fruit flavors in his coffee. So, to echo the freshness of this coffee, I infused 1 part of fresh strawberries into 1 part of a high-quality French vodka. The freshness of this infusion will sustain the sweetness of the drink, and supported by the hint of alcohol, it will contribute to this stunning and long-lasting aftertaste. I then mixed these 2 ingredients, let it sit for 1 day, filter it, and I obtain this coffee liquor, a perfect synergy between Mikava and Bombay. And I add 30 ml of it per drink. Now, combined with my cocktail, it will create new notes of violet candy and cherry. And you may now enjoy your coffee as it is warm. Please enjoy. I will help you doing this. Yeah, that's it. All right. Back with me? Great. So I needed 1 last ingredient in order to make the perfect blend out of your cocktail, a bridging one. This represents the barista in its ability to connect the origin to the cup and engage with the customer through a perfectly balanced drink. So I will add, to symbolize this, 1 gram of a lacto-fermented, thank you, apricot juice, which I made by placing fresh apricots for 5 days with 3% of salt. This bridging ingredient will create synergy and bring a new note of nectarine. Now I can finally add my filtrated Ibrik, 50 grams per cocktail. Hopefully, there we are. So, to enhance the perfect tactile experience and have the coffee up front in your cocktail, I placed a chilled rock below your dripper. This has enabled the temperature to decrease by 10 degrees to avoid too much water dilution, as I'm about to shake this cocktail on ice. Time for a little bit of noise. There we are. All right. So I'm about to serve to you a cold, refreshing drink in a martini glass, which has a tight edge in order to increase the fluffiness of your first sips. Now, once again, would you please write down for the signature Cezve? For the taste balance, you'll find a medium-high sweetness with a medium acidity and a pleasant low bitterness. For the flavors, you'll find notes of nectarine, violet candy, mango, and cherry. Yep. It's been my absolute pleasure to be here with you today and to serve you this cocktail and this drink. And I believe it truly represents the way I want to see and serve specialty coffee. I believe that if we link the origin to the cup, we can enhance our sensory experiences and bridge our industry with meaning and transparency. I thank you very much for your attention. Please enjoy. Thank you. Please enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. Time.
And time. Thank you very much, Pierre.